experiencing the emptiness which comes from separation, acknowledging the gap that there will be in your lives. But sadness is not the only emotion. You have all been touched by the life of Dave, so remember him with kindness, with warmth, with fond memories, with love and affection, and above all, with gratitude for what knowing Dave has brought to your life. Sue would like to thank you all for coming here today to remember Dave in one of his favourite places. She is very grateful to you all for your friendship and kindness. She would like to invite you to stay for a while to enjoy some food and a few drinks as you share your stories and memories of her lovely man. On the bar you'll see a box for donations, and donations made in memory of Dave will support the work of Westgate Ark, a charity close to the hearts of both Sue and Dave. Dave grew up in Dudley, where he lived with his older brother Ian and his parents Ella and John. The boy's father was a miner, and the family lived in Colliery Row. In the summertime, they often travelled up to Glasgow to spend time with their dad's family, and they also enjoyed many holidays by the sea at Butlins. Dave was a bright, intelligent boy. He passed his 11 plus and went on to study at Whitley Bay High School. He later said that he felt this caused him to feel as though he didn't quite fit in anywhere. At home, he believed his friends from the village thought he was too good for them, and at school, he thought other pupils dismissed him as a lad from the pit village. From a very young age, Dave was passionate in his love of football and his support of Newcastle United. He went to see his team play whenever he could. When he was 10 years old, he got his first season ticket, and from then on, he was a regular in the East Stand. As Dave grew older, he discovered music and fashion. He loved John Martin and Tom Waits. He was a bit of a hippie. He played the guitar and wore soft shirts and jackets and grew his hair into the widest afro possible. Dave's hair had a life of its own. It grew up and out, and when he teased it through with a wide-toothed afro comb, it reached dizzying proportions. You could only feel sorry for the lads who had to stand behind him on that job. When Dave left school, he worked for a time as a lab technician at Newcastle Poly. He enjoyed his work, and he gradually took on more responsibility. Dave's skill lay in his ability to see the best in people. He was a very likeable man. He was genuinely interested in people, easy to get along with. In the work environment, he excelled in helping others to make the best of their potential. For many years, he worked for Lloyds British and ABB, training workers in business and industry. Through his work, he travelled the world. Later, he went on to form his own business, which he ran successfully for the last 15 years of his working life. Wherever he travelled, Dave's love for his hometown, and especially for his wife Sue, remained steadfastly at the heart of him. Dave and Sue met in the Haymarket pub in 1981. At that time, he was still at the Poly, and she was working at the ministry. They moved into a flat in Eton together, and some years later, they married and bought their house on Kingsley Place. Dave was not a practical man. He was not handy with the DIY. Dave believed that there were skilled people out there who had trained hard to do a job to employ them. Whenever they needed anything doing, they got a man in, and over the years, they made their house a warm and welcoming home. They both loved their garden. It was a real sun trap, filled with beautiful plants and flowers, the perfect place to sit and enjoy a glass of wine. When they realised they had hedgehog visitors coming into their front garden, Dave put together a cat-proof feeding station to encourage them. Living so close to the park, they sometimes got foxy visitors too. Sue said before they invested in cameras, she and Dave loved to stand at the window in the grey of the night, watching the foxes coming and going. Kingsley Place was a great place to live. The neighbours all worked together to create a vibrant green space. They filled and tended planters. The children played freely. There were Halloween parties and long summer evenings spent chatting with friends. A big part of Dave and Sue's social life revolved around the Free Trade Inn. Over the years, they made many good friends at the pub. They also loved theatre and comedy. They spent nights out at festivals, and every year they loved going to the Theatre Royal for the pantomime. At the Free Trade, they often joined in with others on quiz nights. Dave was a handy man to have on your team. He was very good on sport and had a good, broad general knowledge. When Craig David, a local stray cat, decided to make the Free Trade his home, Dave and Sue became his primary carers. When the pub was closed on Christmas and Boxing Days, they went down to spend time with the cat, making sure he didn't miss out on good food and company. Dave travelled widely for work. Over the years, he spent extended periods of time in South Africa and Mozambique. In latter years, he worked extensively across the Middle East. He enjoyed these opportunities to spend time in new cultures. But one of the things that he loved most were the times that he and Sue got to travel together. They have been lucky to enjoy some wonderful adventures. Around the time of his 60th birthday, Dave decided he'd like to go to Peru to walk the Inca Trail. Sue knew that the hike would be too difficult for her to attempt, so she followed by train. Dave loved trekking through the high mountains and valley. It really was a magical journey, everything that he hoped it would be. When Sue turned 60, she chose to explore Alaska. She planned their itinerary, and together the two of them set off on another, very different trip of a lifetime. Back at home, they enjoyed living life quietly in Eden. As always, they were happy just to be in one another's company. Dave loved the times that he caught up with his family. He and his brother Ian both shared a love of single malt whiskies, especially the smoky ones from Islay. Spending time with his brother, sharing a couple of glasses of good whiskey, was one of Dave's great pleasures. He also looked forward to the opportunity to catch up with his nephew and niece, John and Alex. He loved them both dearly. He liked to hear all their news and their plans for the future. He was very proud of the wonderful people they have grown up to become. When Dave and Sue bought Lily Cottage, their house up in Belford, they soon became part of village life. Every year, Sue took part in the annual winter window dressing competition. Her beautiful displays were a standout of the trail. Dave came into his own in the summer at the annual Belford show. He was an excellent cook and a wonderful baker. He made the best pastry, light and crumbly and delicious. The baking cup at the Belford show has been going on for over 100 years, and Dave is the only man to ever have had his name engraved on it. In recent times, Dave's health began to become more frail. he and Sue decided to sell their much-loved home in Heaton and relocate to a splendid eyrie high above the river. It has wonderful views of the water, the bridges and the Free Trade Inn. The move was an immense undertaking. Eileen, Dave's sister-in-law, and many good friends helped them as much as possible. And finally, in February, Dave and Sue moved into their beautiful apartment. Sadly, Dave's health declined rapidly. He was admitted to hospital several times. Sue, Eileen, John and Alex, along with several good friends, were all able to visit, and Dave loved to see them all. Dave was safe, and he was loved. When he was moved to the Marie Curie hospice, his friends saw him there too. When one of them, a Sunderland supporter, arrived wearing a black cat badge, Dave spotted it immediately and shook an admonishing finger at him. Dave was only at the hospice for a very short time. He died gently. His concern, as ever, was for Sue. He loved his wife dearly. He only ever wanted the best for her. Dave was a thoroughly decent, kind man. He worked hard. He loved his friends and his family, and they loved him. Dave will be missed, and he'll be remembered forever. To close today, Sue has chosen this poem by Donna Ashworth. It's called Tu me manques. The French don't say, I miss you. They say, tu me manques. You are missing from me. You are missing. I feel your absence as though it were a vital part of my body that's gone. A part of my body that I need very much, but for some reason I continue to live on. You are a vital part of my soul, so I suppose that makes perfect sense. They say that grief is simply the love you felt for that person, roaring around in pain inside your body, with nowhere to go. I have so much of that for you. I have so much of it I could open the windows and let that roar encompass the world. Tu me manques. You are missing from me. And now, if you're able, please stand and raise a glass in toast to Dave. A lovely man who's left us far too soon. Today.